Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Aditya here. So today we are going to continue our AWS comprehensive course. In that I am moving to the next topic, that is Lambda function with dependencies. Okay, all our previous sessions we worked on sample Lambda functions having no dependencies on any external libraries, right? But in your case, for example, you want our external world, right? We need to write the complex code where it depends on external libraries, right? So all the previous sessions, if you observe, we only worked on very sample Lambda code with very few lines. But if you want to work on some complex Lambda code which depends on some other dependencies, right? That thing we missed in the earlier sessions. Now I'm going to cover that. Okay. And with respect to dependencies or external libraries, those can be DB clients or SDK clients or HTTP clients and AWS SDKs, etc. etc. Okay. So this kind of dependencies, if you want to use in your code, right? In such case, so if you have dependencies or external libraries, in such case we need to package all these dependencies and zip or jar it together. So since we have all these dependencies with our code, right, we need to package them like either a zip, if it is a lambda, like if it is a Python or Node.js, or jar it if it is a Java program, you can jar it together. Okay, so here I am giving some example. For example, Node.js uses npm as dependency manager, where all the dependencies available in Node modules directory. So we need to zip them together along the code. So you have to zip your Node modules with the code. And similarly for the Python also. For Python, you need to install all the dependencies into the jar zip file. The zip file what we are finally going to create, you have to create a zip file by using all the dependencies. For Java also. For Java, it is somewhat different. We are not going to use zip. We can use jar for Java. That is Java archive. So we can build a jar and package all the dependencies inside the jar. Okay. So like this, you can have multiple options for multiple programming languages. Okay, so any programming language based on your need, zip or jar your dependencies along with your application code. So moving to the next point, that is now you can upload this zip. So whatever the zip file you created using your code or jar file you created using your Java code, right, to Lambda directly. So you can directly upload that file to the Lambda, but there is a restriction on size. If the file exceeds 50 MB size, then Lambda don't allow direct upload. So you have a size restriction also. So if you have smaller dependencies and smaller Lambda code, then you can upload your zip or jar directly to your Lambda. But if you don't have smaller code, you have your package or your zip file or your jar file is more than 50 MB, or then Lambda won't accept direct upload. Then what you need to do is, in that case, we need to upload this file to S3 bucket and point our Lambda function to read the file from that bucket. So since we know S3 is an object store where it stores the files, right? Where it stores the files and it will store huge files. So you use one S3 bucket and store your jar or zip in that S3 bucket and point your Lambda. So you go to the Lambda and make it and configure it to read the jar file or zip file from the S3 bucket. Okay, and with respect to native libraries, for example, even you take Python, Java, or Node.js, right? Some native libraries already available in the Lambda. So since we select the runtime, right, we need to ensure those libraries are compiled on the Amazon Linux machine. So the underlying machine, whether it's compiled or not, you need to ensure by running some sample code regarding native libraries. If those are not available, you need to explicitly mention those in the jar dependencies. Okay, and moving on to the next point. So if you want to use AWS SDK inside a Lambda, by default AWS SDK comes with every Lambda. So no need to provide any external dependencies for the AWS SDK. So here one good news is if you are using some AWS SDK related dependencies, right? Since Lambda is inside the AWS, these AWS SDKs usually come with the runtime you selected. But if you find out these AWS SDK are missing or any particular AWS SDK are missing, in your code, then you can able to define in your dependencies. Otherwise, no need to define AWS SDKs. Okay, so that's about theory part. We'll go to the hands-on and see how to create a Lambda function and how to deploy your code with dependencies. Okay, so in this example, I'm not going to show Python or Node.js because we have already seen Python code and Node.js code earlier. In this particular hands-on session, I am going to show you how to upload a jar. Okay, and based on that, you will get an idea how to upload a zip file for the Python and Node.js. Okay, so here I created a project, that is Maven project, where it has these dependencies. So if you see here, we have Amazon AWS Lambda core, and since to run it inside the Lambda, these dependencies are required, and also it has some other dependencies. Okay, and these dependencies will make the jar huge anyway. Now I'm moving to the next one. So here we'll have the handler code, the actual handler code, and in this handler, right, what I'm doing is I'm doing some mathematical calculation. Simple. So this is the sample Lambda code you will get from the internet. For your Python code or Node.js code, you can able to get this kind of sample codes for the handler, and inside the handler you can implement whatever logic you want. But the skeleton, right, you will get in the internet or in the Google. If you search for sample Lambda handler for Python, sample Lambda handler for Java, you will get this particular skeleton, and inside the code you can write whatever you want. Okay, and in the pom.xml, I define dependencies which are required, and even in the case of Python also same. And you use pip install and you package all your dependencies and your application code. Okay, so here the code is ready, right? I have my Lambda handler and all the dependencies. Now I am going to build this code. So since it's a Maven code, right, I can go directly run as Maven install so that it will create a jar file for me. Look, build success. And if I go to the target folder here, I got my Maven jar. And if I go to show in file system explorer, I can able to see the size of the file, that is 5000 KB. Okay, so that is 5 MB. That is good for us since we didn't exceed at the 10 MB range here. Okay, now move to the AWS and see how to import this file into our AWS code. So for the hands-on part, I logged into my AWS account and opening my Lambda functions. So once these Lambda functions got loaded, right, you can able to see I have layer test and test Lambda, which is runtime of Python. But in this example, we are looking at Java, right? So for that, I'm going to create a new Lambda function. So create function and author from scratch, and Lambda is Java demo, and runtime, since we are using Java, I'm taking the latest Java version, and I'm leaving everything as it is. I'm not going to change anything. All the default execution rule, advanced settings, I'm not touching. I'm just creating this function, and this function is now getting created. Since here we are using Java runtime, just remember. So the function creation is taking time. We'll wait for a minute, and yeah, the function is successfully created now. If you see this page, Java demo got created, and it won't show any code because Java runtimes, right? Java won't show any code here, so you need to upload. Okay, so now we'll see how to upload our jar with dependencies to this Lambda. So for that, here, right, in the code section under core source, you will have upload from option. So if you see here, you can upload a .zip file of a Java program, a .jar file of a Java program, or you can place your jar file in Amazon S3 and upload it. So we'll try to upload directly using the jar file itself. Okay, so I'm uploading this jar file directly into Lambda, and we'll see how it works. Okay, so since it is only 5 MB, the jar has been uploaded, and you can able to see the runtime is Java 21, and here handler we mentioned has example hello handle request. But yeah, so here you need to remember this point. Since handler, right, we need to change here. So here handler could be changed based on the package. Since our package is com.example dot, so I will navigate to my workspace. We'll see com.example.lambda handler.java. So this is lambda handler. Okay, double colon, you have to give the handler function name, that is handle request. Okay, so double colon, you are saying in this particular class this is the method you need to refer, and saving now. So we are good with code is already uploaded, and also we are good with handler. And now we'll see how this will work by executing it. So click here in the test section. In the test section, right, you can directly click on test, and it got executed and succeeded. You can see the status is 200, and you will have this summary and all, right, how much execution time. And here in the log output, if you click, right, you can go to the CloudWatch directly and see the logs of your application. So I'm going to CloudWatch now and see what are the logs available now. So for this particular Java demo, this log stream got created. Inside this log stream, we can able to see, right, we don't have any issues here, started and ended, and it's working fine. Okay, so we don't have any issues as of now. So I'm coming back to my this thing, and you can able to see the status which returned 200 and some correlation mean values. And if you go to the code, right, that is what I'm doing. I'm calculating the mean, and I'm returning the mean and correlation values. That's it. Okay, so like this you can upload your Java jars into your Lambda function. And we'll do one more thing. Currently we uploaded from .jar file, right, directly, since it's a 5 MB file. We'll explore how to do the Amazon S3. For that you need to open the S3 service. So I'm opening the S3 service. Right click, open the S3 service, and wait for it open. And I have an test bucket called code upload bucket, and if you have this kind of bucket, use this bucket, or you can create your own bucket and upload your files here. So here already I have some zip file, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this file. Okay, so this is not required for current demo. So that is usually the .zip file usually used for Python and Node.js code. So currently I'm deleting that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this particular jar to this particular folder. Okay, so into this bucket I'm uploading my jar file. Upload, and it will take a few seconds to upload this jar, and the 5 MB jar has been uploaded successfully. Okay, close it and click on your jar here, and it will give you this particular page where you can copy the S3 URI. So this URI is important. And once you copy this URI, just come back to your Java demo, and that means your Lambda. And here, right, upload from, click on this jar file, right, directly you upload it. But if you want to provide the Amazon S3 location, then you click on this Amazon S3 location and paste your S3 URI here and save it. So now instead of loading it from the local path, it will load from the S3 bucket. And again I will try to test it and see how it executes. So execution started and execution completed, and the desired result we got it. Okay, like this you can able to achieve from the S3 bucket, or you can directly upload based on the size. So I am going to the Lambda test Lambda, which was created by the Python runtime. So we'll explore it. Okay, so in this example what I'm going to do is, since it is Python runtime, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a zip file. So I have already created a zip file earlier, so I will upload that. Yeah, this is my Lambda function zip, and if I try to upload this zip, right, you can able to see, so the zip file got uploaded successfully. So it is allowing up to 50 MB. So if I click here, right, it is showing for larger files more than 10 MB, they are saying to consider Amazon S3, but they are allowing up to 50 MB, but it's good practice to use Amazon S3. And you know, right, how to use Amazon S3, upload from Amazon S3 location. You can able to add your GIF files here also. Okay, so you can do that. So likewise, you can able to add your code with dependencies to your Lambda function. You can use .gif file or Amazon S3 location, .java file, any file, right? Any archive or GIF or from the direct location or the same files from the S3 location, you can able to configure like this. I hope you understand this session. And if you like this session, like, share, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you want to learn more about the AWS. Thank you.